What's up, everybody? Jimmy, the psychedelic fisherman here, gearing up for my third trip to Ambio Life Sciences, guys. Um, Ambio holds a very special place in my heart. They showed me that I have happiness inside of me, gave me my life back. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Ambio Life Sciences is a facility in Mexico. And what they do is they provide people with two medicines, psychedelic medicines. The first one is Ibogaine. It's the bark of a root of a bush found in West Africa. And it's the most intense thing that I think you can do. Um, it's it's an amazing medicine. Uh, when I went the first time, had uh, I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I couldn't sleep. I was prescribed Xanax. I was miserable. Outside looking in, everything was great. I had a beautiful life, but I wasn't feeling it. And overnight, I could sleep. I haven't had a sleepless night besides being sick, obviously, since April 18th of 17th of 2023. It shuts off the addiction receptors in the brain, guys. So it actually goes in there. So when you have something like nicotine and it kicks that addiction receptor on, that addiction receptor just doesn't turn off by itself. Ibogaine, though, goes in, turns it off to pre-addiction settings, if you will. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. I also felt internal happiness for the first time, and if you watch our podcast, you'll hear me talk about internal happiness. But I've felt external happiness, right? Catching a great white shark, right? The great external happiness, but it wasn't a lasting happiness because I didn't have happiness inside. Um, I didn't even know what it felt like the first, I came to, if you will, came out of my journey on Ibogaine. I was sitting on the bed and I was like, man, I feel good. What is this? Like, I know what feeling intoxicated is, and I am intoxicated, but other thing that I feel is not intoxication. And after the hours wore on, I realized it was internal happiness, and it hasn't gone away. If anything, it's increased. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. So the second medicine you do there is 5-MeO-DMT, not to be confused with NN-DMT, okay? NN-DMT is what is found in ayahuasca. You can also smoke NN-DMT. I would describe something like that. It's more of lifting the veil, from what I understand. So you're still on this planet. It lifts the veil to let you see things that some say our brains have evolved to not allow us to see. It can also be very therapeutic as well. But 5-MeO-DMT comes from the poison of the bofu toad. You dry it out and you smoke it. You can also synthesize it, which is it's much more humane, obviously, and then it's also you can have as much as you need, and it's consistent. There's no irregularities. You have a chemist make the same exact thing every time, so you know exactly what you're giving your patients. And that is what is otherwise known as the bliss molecule or the God molecule. And it's exactly how it sounds, but it doesn't lift a veil. You're not here anymore. You're out of body. That medicine is what made me decide to quit my for-profit and focus full-time on my nonprofit. I knew my life's purpose in an instant, in one moment. I knew my life's purpose. So here in the next few days, I'm going to drop the episode. Eric and I talked about my first trip to Ambio in detail. So you guys will be able to go over there and see all that. I just wanted to let you guys briefly know what I'm talking about here and what I'm doing. I went on a second trip, and it made me much more proficient at my job. It I thought the first time kind of awoken something in me that was in Ranger Battalion, like I hadn't had since Ranger Battalion, even though I'm an intense, passionate dude. I'm a go-getter. Anybody that knows me knows I don't have to do anything. But it became more effortless after the second time in April. I kind of I talk about this and in the podcast as well in detail, and you can probably tell this is usually I'm a lot more boom 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 boom. This is this is challenging for anybody, man. But it's worth it. That's why I can't stop going back. Absolutely love it. It's just amazing what it does. And that's the second trip there. It really ignited that inner flame, or I should say, turned the fuel up on the inner flame. But at the end of that second journey, the medicine wanted me to forgive. It was showing me faces of lots of people that I haven't forgiven for various reasons. And really, the reasons are here nor there. Without going into too much detail, because once again, it's on the podcast. It's forgiveness, and I just can't. It's something I can't do it. That's super hard to say. I mean, it's like when I admitted, I can't drink. Like, that's hard. And then it's like you go through all this healing. You call yourself a Christian. You have the best mom in the world who taught you to forgive everyone for everything, no matter what, since you were a baby. And then you have the medicine telling you need to forgive. I mean, personally, I think there's a connection between God and the medicine when it's in you. Okay. I know that might sound a little wacky to some people who haven't done it, or maybe aren't very strong in faith, or don't maybe are atheists or whatever. But it really has brought me so much closer to God, and I'd always been a Christian. So it was like looking God in the face and my mother in the face and saying, no, I'm not going to listen to you, which is very, very foolish and very arrogant and very cowardly. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. So this is about that's the reason I'm going. So I signed up again. Boom, I'd been through that battle drill. That's also on one of the tabs. We walk through the application process with you, and then they give you a coach. My coach is Devin, another former Army Ranger. He was an officer in the first bat in the '90s. First bat, right, Eric? Was he first? Okay. I thought you like looked at me like, no, it wasn't first bat. No, you're good, bro. So Devin gave me some prompts to help me process as I get closer, which we're close. We're close. I had to move to the left of a week because of a nonprofit event we have here in Savannah for Not Lucky. So it was about an hour or so call with Devin, and we were talking about forgiveness. And I told him I just don't do it. I refuse to do it. I know I need to do it, and then when I think I try to do it, there's something inside of me that doesn't. And then I actually shared with Eric today, or excuse me, Eric today, that there's something inside of me that almost doesn't. I know I need to do it and I want to do it, but there's something in there that's like stopping it. Because like when you don't forgive, you hold hatred in your heart and you carry it and it becomes a part of you. You can be a really good person. I think I'm a decent person, but you can be a really good person and still have hate inside of you. I tell people often, man, I'm just going to be raw with it because that's just me. People will be like, man, what you're doing is great. This, that, and the other. You help people. You do this. You've done this. You've done that. And I just smile and shake my head, and I'm like, man, I really appreciate it. I love the support. Please continue to support us. But like, I'm not that great. I carry a lot with me that I don't like, and it's time to get rid of it. And it's as I get closer, it really just hit me yesterday, or excuse me, day before yesterday. It's like it's crazy because it's like I know this needs to happen and it's going to happen because the medicine works. But it's just something in me is just different this time, and I'm still pumped to go. Still very pumped to go. I've been pumped each time, but this one is it's a lot. So it's wow. Finish the sentence. I feel ashamed when Well, first thing that pops into my head, I'm not going to sit here and like go into deep thought about it. We're just going to do first thing that pops in my head. I'm assuming that's what Devin would want. So, Devin, if not, yell at me or holler at me, bub. So, I feel ashamed when I think about how long it took me to get sober. Meaning, I knew I had a problem, even though I wouldn't admit it. Years, years before it was an actual visible problem. So I beat myself up a lot about that because I'm ashamed of that. Because if I would have gotten sober sooner, then I would have been already established and not lucky, would have been able to help a lot more dudes than it has. So that's something I carry a lot of shame about. So there's that. I felt shame when, hmm, it's kind of the same thing. I feel ashamed when, blah, blah, blah. I think about that. I felt shame when, we're going to skip that one because I'm a little confused. The first time I felt shame was, oh, wow, that's easy. I can't go into detail because I'm not going to, this isn't about calling people out, and this is not about anybody that has done anything to me. This is about me and my healing journey. But there was a very, I had a really bad Christmas as a kid. There was one, and it, it was, yeah, a lot changed. A lot changed in me that day. I was like 6 or 7, maybe. Um, I'll go into detail with that with Devin. This isn't the place for that, but that was the first time I felt shame. How do I handle my emotions? I'm very open with them, and I think I handle them fairly well now. After I began the first time, I used to be a little wild with them and let them control me. They definitely don't control me anymore. I'm a very emotional person, very passionate person, but I handle my emotions well. How do I soothe and calm myself? That's a pretty easy one. I remind myself that at the end of the day, none of this isn't really real. What comes after this is real, right? Like when we go to the kingdom of heaven type thing. I believe you get a little taste of that when you experience 5-MeO DMT, the toad. I believe you get a little taste of heaven there. That's how I described it to my mom, Barbara, the first time. I said, "Yeah, mom." I was like, "I think I know what heaven might feel like now." It's pretty intense. So I remind myself that this is not this is a speck of dust in time, okay? But we do got to take it seriously while we're here, obviously. So that helps me. Um, and then whatever is making me upset in that moment obviously happened in the past because every second is a new second. So I remind myself of that. Now, this isn't something that works immediately every time, but that's what I do. And I just kind of keep that mantra going in my head. Right? I think you would call that a mantra, right, Eric? Is that a mantra? I don't know. Um, Make a list stating I release any and all shame around, um, well, not getting sober sooner. I want to release that. Um, Not forgiving. There's a lot of shame around that now that I think about it. I want to release any and all shame around that. Uh, Anybody I've hurt or wronged, definitely that. So, and oh wow. In what ways do I show myself love? I mean, I like go to hot yoga. I think that's showing myself love. Um, let's see. Oh, I mean, I've got a weird cologne thing, don't I, Eric? I wear a lot of clothes. I used to smell really bad when I'm drunk. I'm a sweater, and obviously, when you're physically dependent on alcohol, that is all that is in you. Like, and you smell like it all the time. And it was weird for a while there. I almost was like proud of it. I don't know. It was really weird. So I have this really weird thing now where I do not want to stink. Like getting off the boat, yeah, Roger. You know, I'm supposed to sweat and be nasty out there. Hot yoga, well, you don't really smell bad after because I drink like a gallon of water a day. So, um, but I don't mind sweating and getting nasty in those times. But if I am not engaged in physical activity or we are not fishing, I better be smelling like Armani, and that's about it. If I ain't smelling like Armani and we're not fishing, there's a problem. Let's see. What makes me feel loved? Boom. That is a super, super easy one. Wow. Because I felt love today from somebody I never met. And I'm going to pull it up because I sent it to my mom and baby sister, April Dawn, earlier. And I'm going to share this lady's name because she put it on the public comments on her reel. So, and I've been conversing with her all evening. Jennifer Williams. She said, "Your posts are so inspiring. After losing my sister in 1988, my mother in 2011, my brother in 12, and then my brother's wife in 21, your posts are unbelievably helping me. After all these years of depression, hurt, and loneliness, thank you. I am so grateful. I saw your profile on your mom's Facebook page. We all love Barb. Yeah, Mom, I'm calling you Barb like April does now. So, guys, that right there, that makes me feel extremely loved. Like, I don't want to do anything in my life but help people in any way I can, in any shape, form, or fashion that I can. So that makes me feel great. Like, so, you know, helping people makes me feel loved. Even somebody I hadn't met, and like a civilian, a non-veteran. Not the it's not our specialty, you know, because we're wired a little differently and stuff. But it's definitely a few veteran, or excuse me, a few civilians that I've talked to, man. So anybody that I'm helping, anytime that I hear that, whew, man, I feel all the love, and it is awesome. Okay, what makes me feel loved? How can I create more of this in my life? Well, that's an easy answer. Help people and make sure I have plenty of Armani cologne. I think right, Eric? Right? Doesn't that seem like that's an easy answer, man? Dude, if school would have been that easy, we might not have had to join the army and then be fishermen and stuff, man. Um, I feel most creative when the 90 days after I leave Ibogaine, when that medicine is still in you and working, it's absolutely incredible. Um, that is 110% when I feel the most creative. That's when Not Lucky has raised the most money. That's when the biggest breakthroughs that have come through in the past 2 years for year and a half for Not Lucky have all come within the 90 days of taking the medicine. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. Oh, whoa. Wow, Devin. All right, bud. At least I know you're a real friend, not pulling punches like a baby back bitch. Um, Make a list of everything that comes to mind when you think of what you hate about yourself. I mean, prior to going to Ibogaine the first time, or Ambio the first time in April of 23, that we wouldn't have had enough battery life in any camera in this house to be taking that list. Man, I hated myself back then. I really don't hate very much about myself anymore, but there's definitely some things um, that I mean, what we said earlier, that like I haven't forgiven myself. Maybe that's why I don't forgive others. And like I think in the Bible it says, if not in the Bible, I know my mom and everybody else in the around me has said this a million times, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too. You don't forgive for the person you're forgiving for yourself. Uh, so yeah, that's something I definitely hate about myself. Let's see, anything else? What else do I hate about myself? I love the fact that I actually have to think about this now. Um, oh man, I still definitely hate myself for some of my past choices. You know, before I went to Ambio, it was just, you know, just bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. But hate's a strong word for that. Um, Definitely the not getting sober thing, to help more people. Um, Man, I'm pretty proud of this. I really can't think anything else. That is insane. Oh, I don't like how I beat myself up, which kind of falls in the forgiveness thing, I think. But I am really, really, really bad about that. And that's not good to beat yourself up when you make mistakes, when you make as many mistakes as me, because you end up whooping your own ass quite a bit. Quite a bit, you know what I mean? It turns into a bigger job. And as we all know, you'll have that on in big jobs. Um, so, guys, that right there is a little taste of what they're going to be asking you. That's how deep this goes. And I still have a second coaching session coming up, which I'm going to be putting up as well. Also, I'm going to be posting every day from now until November 1st, 2nd, when I come back. Ibogaine is only 5 days total at the at the facility in Tijuana, at the house you'll be in, or whichever house you'll be in. They're all in Tijuana. But I've got some folks I got to meet up with beforehand. Um, so that's why it's this big of a time span, guys. So I'm just going to keep pumping out videos, and just kind of letting you know they're not all going to be this long. Just to kind of let you guys know what's going through my head, what's happening leading up to it. You know, they're using my EKG from last time, because they had already had mine on file and it was recent enough. You know, we got our travel insurance squared away. We've always got that. They require that to go there. There's cheap policies you can get. We don't have to worry about failing any of the drug or alcohol tests there. We don't have to worry about that, because you do get that your first day there. And then what else have we done? Done a coaching session. That already booked the room, guys. So this is where I stay when I go, because this is where they pick you up. You don't have to stay there, okay? You don't have to stay at this hotel. You just have to be there at the specified time for pickup, guys. If I can find it. 16 days, I'll check in. Oh, boom. The Sheraton San Diego Hotel and Marina. Awesome hotel. Super, super, super awesome staff. Every time I've gone, they're super cool, super helpful. Cause like, you know, San Diego is a big place, man, and you know I ain't familiar with that stuff. It's like it is like going to Korea or something out there. You know what I mean? I ain't never been that far. It's a long way, dude. You know, the last time I went that far, they made me go shoot at people and stuff, man. And people blowing us up and IEDs and lions and tigers and Sasquatches. Oh my! But that's all I got for you guys. People have been reaching out, so continue to reach out, man. If you guys have questions about this, hit me up. Uh, Text me 540-535-8426, and be on the water the next couple days. And it's usually where I say I'll see y'all, but I'm hoping I'll see y'all at Ambio.